And we're back. We're here at the Electrify Conference in Fort Worth. And with me is Bob Voss, the distinguished engineer with Panduit. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Lisa. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? How are you enjoying the conference?
It is fantastic. We should have done this sooner.
Yeah, I agree.
Very happy about it.
I agree. So you're with Panduit, and as I mentioned, you're a distinguished engineer. How long have you been with Panduit?
30 years.
Okay, so
I know,
you're
hard to believe since I look so young. But
and you're also the founding member of the FMP Alliance.
yeah, I had an idea that that kind of came out of a conversation I had with Jeff Beavers, and he said, "Yeah, PoE 20 years, and we're really knocking it out." And I'm thinking, wow. And then I remembered the 20 years of involvement with PoE and thought we really hit our heads a lot. And I think what's exciting about FMP and kind of the reason for forming the Alliance was to put ourselves in a condition to avoid some of those pitfalls and barriers that we encounter with PoE. And we're really in a good spot right now because labor's very receptive. They're like, hey, what is this new stuff? You know, let's get together. Nika's working on a workmanship standard on how to install the stuff. And PoE is very commonplace and very, very everyday stuff. I mean, nobody's really shook about putting in PoE anywhere. So, the codes and standards stuff is really starting to align well. The National Electric Code put fault managed power in the 2023 version of the code, new code every 3 years, right? So 2026, we'll see it expand even more in terms of what's permissive and that sort of thing. The one thing, because NFPA, who publishes the National Electric Code, are the guardians of safety. It has to be a UL listed system. Right. There are ways to install non-UL listed systems within the code. It's not like UL 1400 or no, but so it's really great. So the codes and standards part has normally been a big deal.
Yeah. Well, let's back up a little bit, and because some of our folks listening or watching this might not be really familiar with what fault managed power is. So can you explain a little bit about that? What is FMP, and how does it work?
Sure. So fault managed power is a transmitter receiver architecture to deliver power. It's power distribution, and you can take any kind of input power. Most often it's building power, and you convert it into a special format that's transmitted between the receiver and transmitter. The transmitter and receiver communicate with each other. They're intelligent, and they're watching for faults in between themselves, and immediately suspend power if there's any kind of a fault. Okay. Line to line fault, line to ground fault, Big Dumb Bob touches it, it shuts off like now, like in a millisecond.
So does it replace PoE, or how does that? How does PoE? How are they interrelated?
I would say it's an enabler. It's an augmenter for PoE.
Okay.
PoE does a lot of jobs really well. They're really, really excellent, and it's really refined, and it's really baked into a lot of pies today. So it doesn't really take away from PoE. It picks up where PoE left off. And so if you're underneath 100 watts of power required, and it's probably an IT-based system at the other end, PoE is probably your best bet. Where FMP really augments PoE is it can form a DC backbone. We can deliver DC power safely at high levels. It can be either utilized as FMP or could be utilized as PoE, depending upon the job to do. Some things probably it doesn't make sense to turn it into PoE, maybe a higher power load like a AC or a blower or something like that wouldn't make sense, or big lighting, high bay warehouse lighting, that kind of thing. Might be better just to use that as fault managed power. Okay.
Well, we're talking a lot, obviously this conference is about DC powered smart buildings, low voltage PoE, and smart buildings in general, and how owner occupiers, the quality of the experience, the performance of the buildings. How does fault managed power play into those goals and objectives?
Well, I think the main thing is we're now starting to instrument more and more of buildings. The more intelligence we can get, we can transform it into wisdom, operational knowledge, and we get buildings that achieve higher performance, better customer experience, that sort of thing. And So fault managed power enables architectures, digital architectures that make that happen, make that possible. Plus, while remaining safe, because, at the Sinclair, there's fault managed power in the guest room. You got to go digging in the closet to find it, but it's there. And so when we get that close to the customer, that close to the edge of the network and to the experience, we have to be doubly safe and make sure that, you wouldn't want somebody opening or leaving all the outlet covers off in a room and somebody's not paying attention, plugging their MacBook in and they get lit up.
Right.
So PoE is inherently safe. The way they make PoE safe is it's a limited energy source. There's only so much energy available, so even if you make a direct short, nobody's getting hurt, you're not starting a fire. But fault managed power, because it's intelligent, can really raise up the energy levels that can be delivered because it can suspend power delivery immediately.
Okay.
And so that's why it's so much more, it could transmit so much more power than PoE is capable of.
So you were talking about codes and standards. We've been talking a lot about that over the last day and a half, and we've got, I think, another session this afternoon on the codes and standards. Is it keeping up? I mean, are the codes and standards where they need to be for fault managed power applications?
I'd say, in fairness, they're coming along nicely, and I think it's a lot more receptive environment than it was when I had dark hair. And to that end, I think a big thing that's coming in the 2026 code is we're reorganizing the code, and we're going to put all of the goodies we need for DC buildings into a category called limited energy. So Class 2 power, PoE power, which is a form of Class 2 power, and fault managed power are all going to be taken care of in the same section of the code, which makes it easier to inspect, which means the AHJs are going to be a lot happier about doing it because it's not flipping through the code book for an afternoon to figure out what's going on. It's very easy to inspect and very easy to get a high performing and safe installation. So we need to do more, and that's probably one of the objectives, one of the nascent objectives of the Alliance is to be able to help support that effort. When they say, what else do we need in the codes? Well, come to us. We got the experts. They're sitting at the table.
Well, how can some folks might be watching this and want to get involved and want to get more information on the Alliance? What would you say? What's your advice for for getting involved in the Alliance?
Either tackle me in the hallway at any industry event, or go to fmpalliance.org.
Okay.
And yeah, we do have a website. More and more stuff going up on the website we don't have a social presence yet, but we're working on it.
Okay.
So we just got together, the 5 companies just founded in April.
And who are the 5 companies?
Good question. So Panduit, my employer, Cisco Systems, Volt Server, Belden, and Prismian.
Okay.
So
great. All right. Well, I think we're just about out of time, and I think we'll be hearing more about FMP Alliance later on this afternoon in the program. And folks can go to the website that you just mentioned. It was good to have you. I'm glad that we had a chance to chat, and hopefully you'll come back and tell us how we're doing and the new improvements and progress that we've made. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having us, and look forward to the next one.
All right, same here. Thanks.